So you're welcome to my healthy food place, where we share ideas and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. I am Grace Enemali, President and Founder, NGO Foundation. I'm your coach to help you, to guide you, to coach you using my own life experience. And so today, if you are just coming for the first time, please, why not hit the subscribe button so that you'll be notified whenever I am here. It's all about wellness. It's all about your health, how to help you stay healthy without too much visits to the hospital. That's a life I've been enjoying for years now. And that's exactly what I'm sharing. And so today I want to share something about the food we make, the food choices we make as we get older. There is need for us to continue to make dietary changes and modifications. I've said this over and over again. You cannot continue to consume the conventional foods you've been having for many years. And as you get older, things are changing, your body is changing, and you need to also change your diet. Adopt, include new ones, and you keep doing this as long as you live. You continue to make changes to your diet. And so today, briefly, I want to share with us a few foods that you need to start consuming regularly. I mean, almost on a daily basis. And I'll be telling you why you need to start consuming them. If you've been neglecting them, or you've been taking them as an occasional treat, or you've not really considered it a very important food or whatever in your diet. I shall be mentioning a few of them and then telling you why too. Some of them you already know them, you've been taking them, but I also need to let you know why you need to continue, and then some other ones. I'll start with the regular spices that we take regularly. Whether you're a man or a woman, you need this tip or this advice too. Number one is garlic. Garlic is one of the most powerful antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial too, antiviral, that we need to use both in our cooking and taking it occasionally because of its antibacterial properties. It is also a blood thinner because of its blood thinning properties. It's also one of the top foods for our heart, especially our women, when we start to get to the difficult years of menopause, which usually occurs from age 50 or thereabout. We need to make changes to our diet immediately. We clock that age. From 45, that's the premenopause is already on, in case you're not aware. But before the cessation of the period, we start, in most cases, from age 50, when you no longer see the period for a period of 1 year, that's 12 months. That means it has come to stay. And then you need to make these changes quickly in order to avoid other kinds of sicknesses and diseases. I've mentioned garlic and why. So avoid frequent infections, to avoid blood thickening. When the blood begins to thicken and you don't include blood thinners like garlic, you may be experiencing things like high blood pressure. It's common among older women because of the thickening of the blood. And if you are not including blood thinners, you're going to be having things like high blood sugar, high blood pressure, arthritis. Foods like garlic, consumed regularly, both as a spice to enhance the taste of your meal, and then taken occasionally raw, will help to thin your blood, kill off some bacteria, and then strengthen your immunity, especially your heart. It also helps with cholesterol, because cholesterol is one of the bad cholesterol, I have to specify it because we need cholesterol, but there are good and bad ones. So if we consume certain foods or live certain lifestyles, the bad cholesterol will be more, and then we begin to have problems, and it poses risk and danger to our heart and other organs of the body. Another food we need to include daily, regularly, let me not say regularly, is ginger. Another powerful anti-inflammatory, especially women. It helps ward off inflammation and clean up the arteries. It's one of the top food that you include to help to remove toxins, to help thin out the blood, and cases like ovarian cyst, which is common with women during the menopausal years or immediately before the menopause. Some go through things like ovarian cyst. When you include ginger regularly frequently, it will help reduce incidences of things like ovarian cyst in women. It's one of the top foods I will recommend for women during the menopause, before the menopause, and after it. You should consume it almost on a daily basis. If you want to reduce things like frequent pains, taking of analgesics, you need to start consuming it by adding it as a taste enhancer. Talking of ginger, or using it to combine with turmeric to take as tea to help improve blood circulation. This is another job that ginger does differently from garlic. When you include ginger on in your meal, you hardly have pain, especially when you combine it with turmeric. Usually when you go out for a walk, or maybe you happen to have a fairly hectic day, in the evening you make a tea of fresh ginger, or even if it's ginger powder, make a tea out of it with turmeric instead of going for the over-the-counter analgesics. That's what I do, and that's why I don't have analgesics in my house. I don't have these over-the-counter analgesics. These are natural painkillers. They kill off the pain, kill off bacteria, kill off yeast without any side effect when you take them in moderation. So you noted garlic, ginger, one of the foods you consume regularly, and if possible, there's nothing wrong with it, but I have often said that moderation should be the rule. There's nothing that cannot be taken in excess, including the good ones, and that's why I say we should take it moderately. Blood thinners have their own negative side effects. They can trigger stomach ulcer when you take them too much without a sufficient protein buffer. I mentioned turmeric and ginger, and now I'm mentioning another food, cayenne pepper. They call it shombo. It's your heart's best friend. That's what I call it. It's one food you should consume daily. It helps to heal ulcers. It supports your heart health. It helps to improve blood circulation and prevent occurrences like arthritis, all those pains. Because when the blood is flowing properly, it is rare for you to have all those inflammations here and there. And so it's one of the foods you should consume regularly and, if possible, daily. It helps to kill off yeast. It's one of the yeast-killing foods. Yeast is one of the problems we face after 45 years, from 50 and above. The activities of yeast, some of them emanate from the too much carbohydrates food we consume, which is what we have more in our environment. Another food you need to consume regularly, very frequently, is onions, because onions is a prebiotic. When we talk of probiotic, we also have prebiotics. It supports your blood pressure, it supports your management of blood sugar, it supports inflammation, it helps to feed the healthy cells. That's what exactly prebiotic I'm talking about. And so it's one of the vegetables that is easily digestible. And I recommend it that the older we get, I think the more of these veggies like onions, I call them low-calorie vegetables, the more of them we should eat. Easily digestible, and they are among the cancer-fighting foods. And so it's one of the foods we should consume regularly in our diet. Use it to, enhance the taste of your meal. As a matter of fact, when you include onions in all your meals daily, your food will taste good and nice. It's one of the foods you should be consuming regularly after the age 45 and even 50. Then another food you should choose wisely is the salt, the type of salt. Salt is so important in our diet. Very small in amount, needed in small amount, but we need it every day for our energy to be full. And so I recommend you to switch to sea salt. Don't say it's expensive. It's only in this part of the world that it's expensive. In some places, in West African countries, it's not expensive. And when you compare with your health and the implication of a sick body and the pains of a sick body, you will agree with me that it's not expensive. And then if you don't even want to use it, you don't want to buy it enough of meal in large amount and use it for all your cookings, you can buy it and keep as a home remedy for toothache, gum-related issues, and there are several other things that you can use it if you don't want to use it for family meals, maybe because it's more expensive to some of us. But it depends on what you want. But it's good to have it at home. It's a good home remedy. And if you can consume it, use it to cook your meal, it's good every day. It's an electrolyte. It's good every day. It has a lot of the minerals that you need, over 82 micronutrients. And you need these minerals in just little amounts. Some of us that are going for multivitamin capsules, I was doing that before, but you don't need to. When you are using your sea salt to cook, most of the little vitamins and minerals. And do you know one thing? Our bones are made more of minerals instead of calcium. It's difficult to have serious bone problem if you are cooking with sea salt. I am telling you this because I've been using it for several years, and I've monitored and watched people that are using it, people that are quite elderly, because the bones are more of minerals. So if you use something that strengthens, it supports your heart health also, supports your oral health, your teeth, your gums. It helps to kill off some bacteria and helps to, reduce excess acidity, because it's not acidic like the refined table salt. So you need to, it's one of the foods you should consume regularly. Sea salt. You can also use Celtic sea salt. There are other salt, Himalayan pink salt, but I am talking of the one I have been using for several years, and I have discovered that it's actually very beneficial for older adults. And not just that, it also helps to improve your energy level. The sea salt. It gives you quality energy. If you are using it like I'm doing, and you stop using it for one reason or the other, you will notice that there is a drop in your energy. And that's when you will discover that those little minerals, they're doing a lot, especially to the older adults. So you need to also consider including it in your diet, especially in this year, New Year, to strengthen your immunity. It's one of the foods you should be eating regularly. And then when we want to talk of another food from the kitchen side, I also talk of cinnamon because of its effect on blood pressure, inflammation, even with some minerals like calcium and iron, small minerals like that. You can find them in all these foods, including garlic, including even ginger has some calcium. I discovered this lately, and that was why I decided to change my view and my consumption of ginger and to consume more of it because it has some calcium in it. And we must focus on our bones as we get older. And that's why we make a lot of emphasis on exercising. As we get older, we must focus on our bones. Most of the foods I am mentioning and I've mentioned are bone strengthening foods. And I will also mention more of the foods to help strengthen your bones. It's better to prevent a disease than to allow those arthritis, those bone problems to occur before we now start treating it. When you start eating right and consuming the foods that will not demineralize your bone, that will not take out mineral, instead they will add mineral like sea salt. Don't eat things that can remove minerals out of your bone. When we add much weight, for instance, we start drawing mineral out of our bone. I never knew this until recently. That when you are adding weight, you are placing more demand for bones because it's the bone that carries it. And so if you are somebody that happen to have access to do tests here and there, you will notice that when you are heavier in weight, your bones are leaner. I've personally noticed this through a test. But when you are slimmer, the bones seem to be fatter. That's what I noticed. And so when we are consuming these foods already mentioned, they do not allow fat to stay. Because if you allow fat to stay, bones will be getting leaner and leaner. And I have said one of the most important parts of our body to focus on as we get older is our bones. I pray that we will not lose our bones, any part of our bones, because the bones is the main skeleton, is the main carrier of the body. It's the main box for the brain, for the heart. It's the bone that carries it. It's the bone that carries our legs. All this look on our face is the bones. Even when all the flesh is gone, it is the bone that remains last, the skeleton. And so we must take care of our bones. We shouldn't destroy them. Start eating these foods that I've mentioned. Because all of them I have mentioned, they are all bone strengthening foods, including the cinnamon that I'll talk about. Remember, we already know that cinnamon supports your blood sugar. If you are cooking any food that is starchy or any food that is oily or any food that have a glycemic index, even if it's fruit, it's important to include cinnamon to eat to reduce the way your body responds in terms of sugar. Because if you don't, and it continues to, your insulin, your pancreas continues to struggle to produce the insulin over and over again, it may get, tired of doing that job. If you will continue to consume all the stuff we consume, all the starchy stuff we are consuming, without any supporting food like cinnamon to help with the natural production of insulin, which is what it does. It's one of the foods I include daily in my diet. And so it's one of the foods we should consume more to reduce incidences of diabetes, to reduce and delay the onset. Sometimes we work not only to reduce or prevent it, but not that somebody is just 50 or 55 or 45, is already diabetic or medication, or is already having high blood pressure. That's not good enough. Whereas older women, 60, 65, 70, are still walking about hale and hearty. That's the essence of educating us. And when you come to the, we're a little away from the kitchen, we talk about the kitchen spices you should consume daily, regularly. Let's not put daily. They are in the spices group. And another one that I don't want to leave behind, because it's also a spice, is cloves. It's another bone strengthening food. I tell you, it's a bone strengthening food because I have tested it. One of the most important job I know it does is to fight inflammations and then to reduce your blood sugar and reduce excess acidity in the body. It also kills yeast and fungi, but additionally, it strengthens your bones. It has a lot of, naturally occurring ingredients that helps to strengthen our bones. And so it's one of the foods you should be consuming because of its positive effect on your blood sugar, because of its effect on your bones. It supports your bone strength. You can test it and see. But it's better to consume these foods when you are still hale and hearty and not as a cure. Because many of us make the mistake of wanting to start consuming them when the disease is already there. No, my dear. What the essence of all these teachings and education, all the studies and research we are doing is to ensure that as much as possible, we prevent the disease from coming. And even if at all it does, it is delayed. We will enjoy quality of life instead of early medications from 40, 45. We're already struggling with drugs every now and then. That is the essence of the education. So that we don't start early to manage all the ailments that a lot of people are battling with. And so you need to start as early as possible to include foods like cloves. And now, away from the spices, let's go to the nuts. Another thing that you need to start taking in your diet, you need to make choices in your nuts. And I tell you, you must go away from the one we used to love most, which is peanuts. When you get to this age, I'm talking about, you reduce peanut to just 4 or 5 because of it's rich in protein, I agree. It's good for cholesterol. We enjoyed it right from childhood. They use it to mix food for us. We are growing up. But as you are getting older, the choices of nuts you make now should be number one, based on my own use and experience, is almond because of its rich calcium and magnesium content. You need to soak it a few hours. And then you take it. It will help to reduce bad cholesterol, strengthen your bones, and then supply you with very important mineral that your heart needs, and that not only your heart needs, your bone needs too, and that is magnesium. So that is then another nut is cashews. You need it also because it contains some amount of protein, and it has healthy fats. Because we talk of healthy fat, it's one of the healthy fats, cashew nuts. It has antimicrobial properties too, to help reduce it's not a yeast feeding food like peanut. It helps to fight microbes, and it's not inflammatory, except when we overdo it. Now, there is something we need to know about taking overdose of any food. A lot of us are guilty of it. Including my humble self. We are guilty of overeating some healthy foods, maybe because of their taste, or maybe because of their availability, or for some other reasons. We love them. And maybe because we love them, we consume them to excess, above what is the required daily allowance that our body can cope with. Once that happens, the resultant effect in most cases is inflammations. Even if the food is not inflammatory, it turns out that the excess in it that our body cannot carry begins to feed inflammation. And so we say, this food is, I ate is too much, it's too heavy, it's doing me this, it's doing me that. And so cashew nut is another food we should be eating more of it and less of peanut. In addition to, then another walnut, when it's in season, you should consume it. Then coming to the oil side is olive oil. It's one of the best oils for fighting, including bad cholesterol, including diabetes, including high blood pressure. But you must ensure that it's a good one. There are too many adulterated ones outside there. And so you must ensure that you get the cold pressed olive oil and use it, because it's very high in antioxidants and one of the disease fighting oils. And another oil, as you all know, is our cold pressed coconut oil. It's one of the oils too that you should be taking if you're from that age, because of their ability to fight off yeast. These two oils are good in fighting off yeast, reducing the activity of bacteria in the body, and several other functions, including inflammations, and helping to balance good cholesterol. Because one of the things we tend to face as we get older is cholesterol, because of the food we ate. It's not, some people are wondering, how did they come up with high bad cholesterol? These bad cholesterols are not just from the animal fat we eat. Some people are not consuming this animal fat, but the lifestyles, when we are living sedentary life, we don't exercise, when we are consuming most of the oils, even including red oil, it can help. It's one of the oils that can really help your cholesterol. Good, in fact, it will increase the good cholesterol and increase the bad cholesterol as well. So it works both ways. So if you are trying to, if you are getting to that age, you must be careful with the choice of oils you make because of your cholesterol. These are one of the, and I mentioned the ones that can help you to balance cholesterol and the one that help you to raise it fast. Red palm oil is one of them. And sometimes there are some foods actually that require oils. You can take them, but not with the red oil we're used to. Like now, we know that avocados is in season. It's a healthy fat. You can consume it in moderation. Wherever fat is needed in your diet, wherever fat is required, you can choose the fat that you use. Most of the foods we consume on a daily basis, they need fat for their full absorption. And so it's not something you have to avoid or say, I'm going to stay away from fat. It's not the healthy way. The healthy way is to choose the fat that you want to take. You have to deliberately choose the fat and ensure that it's a good fat. And though it's a good fat, sometimes we overdo it. Healthy fats like cashew nuts, there are occasions you could consume too much because it's high in calorie. And not only cashew nuts, I've noticed that most nuts are high in calorie, even walnuts, surprisingly. The little almond, as tiny as it is very, very dense in calorie. Very tiny nut, but when you consume more than 4 or 5, you're already full. And so it's not something you just pack and be consuming. Peanut is high in calorie, cashews are high. Even the tiny ones that you think are not high, they are very, very high in calorie. And why is it important to mention this? This is one of the proofs that they are good sources of fat. And not only fat, they also contain nutrition. They're high in nutrition. At times when I wonder, I try to make a choice of what to eat and what not to. You look at some of the conventional foods we consume, you will notice that when you consume that particular food, I use beans for instance, if you calculate the minerals and vitamins you will get from the nuts, you will notice that there are more. Yes, that there are more things you gain there than from the other one that will have more calorie. And so that is why we need to also choose our nuts where we get some of the fats we need, and then reduce the consumption of the calorie, because most of them are also high in calorie. And in addition to that, when we talk of, okay, let's just move a little bit away. Let's move a little bit away from the nuts to other foods that you need to include. The seeds. Most of us are familiar with sesame seed. We need to start including it, whether it's roasted sesame seed or use it in making your soup. But just beware that it is also high in calorie, good source of important minerals for your heart, for your brain, and for a healthy body. But you must beware of the quantity you are taking. I'm so conscious of it these days that I hardly use it in cooking my soup as I normally do before, so as to avoid over consuming it. It's easier to monitor the consumption when you are just picking it as a roasted sesame seed and you just pick a few and consume, than when you make soup with a large quantity and you just go on eating until you consume too much. Other seeds like fennel seed, you can make tea out of it. These are foods you should start eating after age 45. Don't continue to eat those conventional foods you are used to. Use red oil and make very thick soup and make swallow. No, my dear. You have to start making changes to suit your new life. Because our body cannot carry much weight any longer as we get older. Let's be honest about it. It cannot carry much weight. So those heavy and weighty foods we used to enjoy, we must work hard to make changes to suit the body. Away from the nuts, the seeds. I mentioned the sesame seed. I mentioned the fennel seed, the cumin seed, then the fenugreek seed also. These are wonderful seeds which are not common. But you can go out all the way because of your health, because prevention is always better than cure. Go out all the way to get these seeds to help to be boosting your immunity, to help to keep you strong. What about chia seeds? What about flax seeds? Occasional chia seed, you soak it because of your bones. Especially as milk is not in the list of the food. You have to be listing it out, the things we've mentioned. Remember, milk is not in it. But that is not to say that we are throwing it out completely. But it's definitely not among the foods you should eat more or regularly from the age 45. It's not among the foods. Because if you look at the topic we are talking about, I'm actually talking about foods that you should eat more from that age. Foods, these are disease-fighting foods. These are immune-boosting foods. They are not the regular conventional food that we grew up. We grew up with eating lots of red palm oil for our eyes. That is good. That is wonderful. But as you get older, you will soon discover that it's not only red palm oil that contains vitamin A. There are other foods where you can find it. And that is taking me to the next food that you should consume more regularly as you get older. And that is boiled egg. There's large amount of vitamin A there. This is what we have known and tried. We don't need scientific evidence on it. There was a woman who wasn't seeing properly. She's diabetic. And after I recommended her to start eating egg, she said, no, the egg is not good. They told her egg is not good. Egg has high cholesterol. I said, no, man. Start taking boiled egg at least 3 times in a week. Start like that. It wasn't long, she confessed to me that what she could not read before, she can now read. That before now, she goes for burial ceremony, and she goes for occasions where they share this obituary newsletter, or this program sheets, that she can't see anything. When they give her the paper, she just hold it because she can't see. But surprisingly, when she started consuming eggs, boiled egg as I advised her, she was so shocked to notice that while sitting, they gave her the program. She thought she wouldn't see anything as usual. But she didn't know what led her to look at it. And the whole prints were just staring at her. She wondered, what has happened to me, to my eyes? It was then she remembered that she has just started consuming eggs, which I told her to put in her diet. But before then, she stayed away completely, totally from egg for a very long time. And so the eyes were suffering. And as you get older, you can no longer be consuming too much of this red oil because of it's good for our eyes, but certain age, we can no longer depend on it for our eyes. If you continue to depend on it for our eyes, we are going to be having problem with cholesterol all the time. And then weight gain, because it's heavy. And so we cannot afford to, continue to consume those conventional foods which we are used to, which we are born with. Yes, it's tempting to want to remain with them, but we have to be deliberate and make a change so that we will enjoy healthier and gracious aging. Remember, I said you have to make these changes. Why? In order to prevent the onset of disease, because it is better to prevent them, not to begin to consume these foods when the disease is already there. A lot of people don't pay attention, they don't listen, they feel it's a waste of data to come and listen. But when the disease comes, it's not easy to use these same foods and we want to use it to manage. The place for diseases to manage is the hospital. And when we are talking about this dietary changes and modification, is to either the ward off the disease, to cause it to reverse, or to, apart from it reversing, it can delay it so that the person enjoys his or her life and get to a very old age. Not to start, drugs every day at a very early age. And then I've talked about the boiled egg. We can also talk about, I'm not going to finish it today. We can talk about things like boiled egg, occasional chicken or turkey, whichever one. Then I want to talk about the vegetable side. Now when we come to the vegetable side, green vegetables are very good, but all of them are not the same. This is my honest view. Some are more easily digestible. I am practically avoiding some vegetables. I haven't mentioned it yet. But the ones I will tell you to eat more frequently are the low calories, broccoli, all those cabbage, all those celery, all those light vegetables that are not heavy. Carrot is also a vegetable, though we call it fruit. Some people call it fruit, some are tagging it vegetable, but whichever one is also among the foods we should eat more. As some people don't even bother about it, but it's one of the foods we should eat more because it's low in calorie. Before, I used to say that it's not good for diabetes because it's sweet. But I tell you, it's not so. Take it after taking a blood sugar lowering fruit or spice. Take it with fat. It won't do anything to your blood sugar. Before too, I used to say cabbage is bad. All those low calorie foods, test it with good fat. Combine fat like avocados with them. Combine protein with them. Do it for like 2-3 days and check your blood sugar. You will see there's an improvement. There won't be that hike that you're expecting because they don't contribute to your weight gain. The ones that actually affect our blood sugar and our blood pressure actually are those ones that affect our weight, contribute to weight gain. They are mostly the ones that usually contribute to that. And so green vegetable is also part of it. We need to consume the green vegetables as well, but we must also take it cautiously. Don't have to take too much. I've tried taking too much and I saw that it's not kidney friendly. The ones that are more kidney friendly are the onions, the cabbage, the cauliflower, the garlic, all those stuff that are light. These are we should eat more of them because they do not contribute to weight gain. They're not heavy, they're low in calorie. And then we should exercise moderately. In the citrus family, we should also remember lemon juice in your warm water therapy. It's something you need to do regularly. May not be daily. I do miss out some days, but at least 4 times in a week is good. Add lemon juice. Don't leave it out for too long. Some of them you think they are not working because you can't feel it, like all this Oyibo medicine, shaking your head or moving your body. They are working, my dear. They are working quietly behind the scene. They are working. Especially those citrus. You need to include them. Lemon, include it. It's one of the foods you should be eating from that age. Orange, at least 1, maximum of 2. Consume them. Fruits that are rich in vitamin C. As we have African star apple, it's in season now. Enjoy. It's rich in calcium too. It's good for fighting constipation. They call it agbalumo, udara. All those seasonal foods are good. Consume them. Vitamin C is there. Fighting constipation, boosting your calcium, and then your vitamin C to help neutralize free radicals. These are foods you should eat more. Food that are rich in vitamin C. Bone supporting foods. This is the summary of today's message. Food that these vitamin C rich foods are also bone supporting foods. They help to strengthen your bones. You don't have to start waiting until arthritis comes or you start having pains in your bone before you start consuming them. All the foods I mentioned that we should consume more as we age, they are all bone. I've sat down to look at them one by one. They are all bone supporting, including sea salt. They are all bone supporting foods. If you consume them frequently, you may not have. Somebody had asked me once, you mean to tell me as you dey like this, you no get pain for anywhere? I said, I don't have. She was laughing. But that's the reality. I'm not saying that one is above it or whatever. But at that age, it is expected that somebody of that age, should be on medication, should be having pains all over. Especially when you consider the activity you're moving around, go here, do that, and then you'll be wondering. But it's something that is achievable. Stop the foods that are demineralizing your bones. As you clock 45 or 50, stop them so that they stop drawing minerals out of your bones. And the commonest one that pull minerals out of your bones are the sugary foods that your bones was enemies. So you need to start avoiding them, all the processed foods, all the caffeinated foods, those foods that are high in caffeine, like coffee, frequent. I talk about coffee occasionally because I like everything in moderation. But it's not a bone strengthening food. In fact, it's a bone demineralizing food. I need to say it clean and clear. Whenever I take coffee to give me strength to work, to strengthen my brain, I also make sure I take something rich in calcium that very day. Sometimes I soak my chia seed ahead because I know that this tea I'm going to take is going to draw calcium out of my bones. So you can do the same. Sometimes one may be tempted occasionally say, let me add milk. No, you can add a little if you like, but it may not be enough to meet up with what is going to take place. Occasionally too, I do take a little milk. It's good for your bones, no matter, because it has a lot of, I want to say it towards the end of it so that people won't say, she said we can drink milk or no. But I need to tell you something about milk also. It's a secret that I'm doing recently, and I need to share it only to those of us who are here live. And that is the fact that initially I was taking low fat, zero fat milk. But I later realized over the years now that they are even more acidic and they are more unnatural. When we're talking of natural foods, they are more unnatural because most of the oil they use in them are vegetable fat, vegetable all the stuff. But that the full fat, which I now rely on, seem to be giving me more results. I will stop there. Anytime I want to take milk now, though it's very small amount, I used to take full fat, no dey for any low fat anything. Now real full fat. I go collect the full fat, put small, but it won't be much. But it will be able to hold the sugar. To when the fat, because what can stop the sugar is the insulin resistance, is the sugar. So, but before we used to say, no, take 1% fat to avoid the fat. I'm no longer avoiding fat like that too. Because the more you are avoiding it, the more problem we have. Check people who are avoiding fat. Now then go get fatty liver. Now then go get this and that. No, the solution is not to avoiding fat. If I want to take milk now, as you see me, now full fat I dey inside. I no dey for low fat again. I'm not in 1% fat, 0% fat. No, because it is actually the fat that help to reduce the insulin resistance. But don't take it too much. Don't say I told you this one, because when you take it too much, because it will affect your cholesterol effort. Your effort to lower cholesterol will be Lisa Chapman. Okay, what is this saying? I know see this thing. I didn't see this comment. Lisa Chapman, you said the only way I could do that was if you said it in a, I didn't hear. You can write that comment very well. I didn't get it. I didn't get that comment very well, please. So, okay, this one is interesting you. I have to tell you what I do. Is the truth. Lisa, please write your comment. I want you to write it properly. Write it properly, please, so that I can get it well. I want you to write it well, please. I'm telling you something, and maybe you're commenting. I said before now, I used to like low fat, zero fat milk. I'm not saying that milk is one of the foods you eat frequently, but once in a while I take it because it has a lot of minerals, and we don't have too many foods in this part of, and besides the calorie is not even much, because we're talking of calorie here when we are choosing. I love you. Okay, thank you, my dear. I love you too. I love you too. So I don't, since we are not eating all the stuff they say we should not eat bread, don't eat biscuit, don't eat yam, don't eat this. So the milk, anytime I want to take it, look at my face. I put milk this morning. I enjoy myself. It will not kill anybody, but it's not every day. And I know they for low fat, I know they for small fat. Now the full cream they drink now. If I want drink, I made the cream dey inside, so that the cream go help me. I will get energy, since I have not eaten all the junk and all the guru I'm eating before. So that small one, let it be loaded, because I have found that they are using real dairy, not vegetable fat, wanting fat. They will bring all the artificial whatever and put it, and later they will dry the original fat out of it and say that the thing is having zero fat. Don't we need fat? If you don't have fat, you won't have energy. I have used 1% fat for several years, and I saw the consequence. I saw the result. They are more acidic than the full fat, I can tell you, from my usage of it. They are more acidic. But I have a, okay, thank you, I love you. I appreciate you too. So I'll be rounding up now because I told us some people are still there. I can see about 5 people are still there. So I said we should be here on time. We should come early because don't intend to spend too much time here. But I've shared some top things that you should start eating. Citrus, if you have a book, you have written some of them down. You should start eating as you clock 40, 45 years. And I added the last one, which I just added to share my own personal experience, to tell us that, no, my dear, I know there for no fat, and I'm repeating it. Mary Bow, Mary Bow, something like that. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, thank you for your love. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate you all, and I love you all. Thank you for staying put, because that's the reason I'm here, to share with you that you can enjoy a healthy body. It's possible. No malaria, no typhoid. It's not a fairy tale. Oh. This is real thing that once somebody is enjoying. So we got to tap into it. It's not, I'm talking of someone that was always treating malaria, typhoid. These are some of the secret foods that I eat on a regular basis. The list is still continuous, but I can't finish everything today. But I shared some of the important kitchen spices and some of the seeds, some of the nuts, some of the, drinks that we can include regularly, including zobo, hibiscus flower tea. This one is I'm just adding it for those who are still behind. So you can add that one, hibiscus flower tea, to make your drink, and stop drinking all those carbonated things and teas and beverages. Thank you all for coming. I love you all. Appreciate you. Don't forget to share this message. You can help me and share it. You can also give me your like, as some of you are doing, and then subscribe if you have not done so that anytime I'm here, you'll be notified. Thank you, and it's bye from me, your wellness coach, Grace Enderman. See you.